It's a crisp winter's morning here in the village of Glenridding, just on the shores of Ullswater. And today I'm going to do a short circular walk that takes in the top of Glenridding Dodd. And that's the fell that you can see up behind me. We're going to leave the village and pick up a path that follows the shoreline of Ullswater. In a short distance we'll then head up into the valley of Mossdale Beck. We'll go to a little viewing point which I want to go and visit, and then on up to the top of Glenridding Dodd itself. It's a lovely day for it, and even though the days are much shorter now, we should have plenty of time to get this walk done before it gets too dark. Hopefully, anyway. Let's go.
We take the footpath alongside the A592 as we head north out of the village. And just outside the village we cross over the road and head down towards Ullswater shore. This section of the route is part of the Ullswater Way, so it's a well-made path. But do take time to divert away to have a look at some of the viewpoints that look down to the head of Ullswater. Just as a warning, some sections of the path are joined by the road, so do take care, especially here underneath Stybarrow Crag where the road narrows. Once you pass Stybarrow Crag, cross over the road and take the footpath that's marked that ascends alongside Mossdale Beck. As you head up through the wood, the path is a bit indistinct. But keep ascending and you'll soon reach this good fence, where there's a stile and even a hatch for a dog to pass through. Just over the fence you'll see a path that goes off to the left. Don't take that, keep up through the woods, and on the right you'll come across this fine waterfall of Mossdale Beck. Hardly anyone goes here, so it's quite a delight to find it. The views behind you over Ullswater are pretty impressive.
That's a great view. That's Place Fell in the sun. And Ullswater, maybe you can just see the steamer on Ullswater down there. And of all the walks that I've done in the fells, I've never seen Place Fell from this angle before. And that's what makes coming on these quieter routes, these unusual routes, quite interesting, because not only will you see very few people, but you'll get unusual views and aspects of the fells, especially on a day like today when the lovely winter light on the fell side. Now we've just got a short walk to do to get up to the wall, which would turn left up towards Glenridding Dodd. Mossdale Beck is down here on the right hand side. And it's a quiet route because it's not marked in Wainwright's original pictorial guide. Well worth it. We've just left the woods and we've come out into this rather nice flat area in between the two tops. Glenridding Dodd is up here, Sheffield Pike is straight ahead of us. It's a really nice path. Not very well worn, but just a nice route through the few trees here and on the flat ground, on the grass and the bracken. It's lovely.
And we carried on along the path. Now, to shorten the route, you could just go left and head directly up to Glenridding Dodd summit. But I wanted to investigate the high ground on the right, above Glencoyne Wood. Behind us is the top of Glenridding Dodd, which is actually a few feet lower than where we are now. And further round to the right is the peak of Heron Pike. Even though this top is unnamed, it's got a fine cairn on top of it. Well, it would have been fine at one time, it's a bit tumbled down now. But there's no marked height here. And I'm surprised because this is quite a good summit. In fact, it's a really good summit. And it deserves to be on some of the lists that you see, but no, it's almost totally unexplored. Judging by the evidence, there would have been more trees here in the past, but now it's a fairly open top fell, and it gives some wonderful views over to Ullswater and Place Fell.
Well, that's that job done. The sun's dropped down behind Birkhouse Moor now, so the temperature's plummeted down, so we'll be gloves on in a minute. And now we're just heading down back into the valley and then get to the wall and up to Glenridding Dodd. I've just taken shelter behind the wall out of the cold wind and grabbed myself something to eat and drink. And now we're going to go through the gate, turn left, and then up to the top of Glenridding Dodd. It's only 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but it's gone quite dull because the sun's gone down behind the high fells now. So I apologise if the film looks a little bit poor quality, but that's the problem with filming with the GoPro. But we'll head on up to the top of the fell and hopefully we'll maybe catch a nice bit of late evening light and see the top of the fell and the view down into Glenridding, and then head back down into the village itself.
The route between Sheffield Pike and Glenridding Dodd is well used, so it's an easy to follow path as you ascend towards the top of Glenridding Dodd. When Wainwright was working on Glenridding Dodd for the pictorial guide in the mid-50s, there was no measured height to the top of the fell, so he estimated it at 1425 feet. It's actually been remeasured as 1450 feet, so he was 25 feet out. And unusually, this is one of the few fells where Wainwright doesn't produce an illustration of the summit.
I've just dropped down from the summit and taken a bit of shelter behind this outcrop here because it's rather windy on the top. Now, Wainwright explains that there's several cairns on the top of Glenridding Dodd, so we're going to take a look at them. One in particular which has got a really cracking view down over Glenridding village itself, and that's over to the southeast. Hopefully it's still there. You can see it from the village, but most people don't go and find it and don't go and have a look at it because it's not really near a regular footpath. But I've been before, quite a while ago, so we'll go and have a look again and see what it's like.
This cairn is the one that Wainwright describes as the main cairn in the pictorial guide, and it's still in very good order. It's too cold and windy to hang around here today, but I can recommend coming here on a warm day in the summer when the heather is in full bloom. Just slightly to the east are two more collapsed cairns. As we descend off the summit of the fell towards the Col, there's a path on the left. This is called the Rake, and it's an easy route to follow down into Glenridding village. Soon you'll get to the lane, which is known as Greenside Road, and carry on down the lane into the village centre. Back to the start.
Well, that was a nice route, one I've never done before. Taking in that extra top of seldom seen, looking over towards Ullswater with that nice winter light was just wonderful. It's not a long route, but I can recommend it if you were thinking of just having a short walk somewhere around Glenridding, and I won't say killing a bit of time, but doing something that would maybe just take half a day or a couple of hours. And if you time it right, you'll end up here in the Traveller's Rest and enjoy a pint. I hope you've enjoyed the film anyway. If you have, do click the like button on my YouTube channel here, or even better, subscribe, and that way you'll get to see films as soon as they're posted. But thanks for watching. Cheers.